Hola, I am James Bretherton, a native English and Spanish speaker, born in Bristol but educated in Spain from the age of 4. Listening to my English parents and their friends, I discovered very quickly the problems that they were having learning Spanish and trying to structure sentences because they didn't understand the structure of our language. I'm the perfect person to bridge the gap between the two languages because a Spanish tutor isn't going to understand that you don't say things in English like I have heat. And when you say, can I have in Spanish, using those exact words, it means absolutely nothing to us. So I understand the difficulties that British people have and British speakers have when they're trying to learn Spanish as a second language. I will now explain the focus and content of my Spanish language course, which I have refined over the last 20 years in my classroom. I specialise in teaching Brits, Irish and Americans Spanish as spoken here in Spain. Learning Spanish is important for English-speaking adults, whether they are busy working or retired, but time is always the issue. It's not unlimited. Recognising that, my course has become a standout success because of the focus on the spoken language, its simplified learning techniques and its very fun approach. I take the easy way. I teach expats what they need to have everyday conversations with neighbours, officials, shop staff, tradespeople and health professionals and help them tune their ear for the spoken conversation. Of course, there is also a very hard way, which if you want to report for El País or write the great Spanish novel, in that case you have no choice but to learn the detailed language level that Spaniards took over 20 years to achieve. From the age of 3 at home, then through school and then through their native tongue, they're able to learn all of these tenses and things, but I think that's not going to be for you. So back to my easy way, the shorter, faster way to learn. Many people that come to me have been doing 10-minute daily online Spanish sessions for years, or most of them night school before moving to Spain. But they take an eternity to construct a sentence and have a meltdown when a Spaniard talks to them. So many people are mistaken and they think the hardest part is going to be speaking Spanish, which it is not. The hardest part by far is when you go into a shop and you say what you want and they come back to you at lightning speed. That is what I focus on. Their previous studies they've done have not focused on their actual needs. They have not been taught the basic structure of the language and they can't construct a sentence on the fly, off the cuff, and they have no speed. And then they need lots of listening practice. As I've told my classroom students for many years, you don't need to know the fine details of any language to be able to become fluent in Spanish. Knowing every tense is not the key to speaking Spanish fluently. Speed of delivery is what makes all the difference. Spaniards will talk to somebody who can keep a conversation going quickly, but they lose interest in somebody who knows every one of the 40 plus tenses but takes forever to spit it out. So they end up getting fed up. The Spaniard will then turn into English and ask you to please speak English because they haven't got all day. Now, my course details. I do not use the grammatical names. I do not use the words like pronouns, adjectives, subjunctives, etc., because I don't think you guys need to know all of those technical names. If anybody wants to know any of the grammatical names like subjunctive, past participle, imperfect, etc., I will gladly tell you them. You can ask me the questions directly on every lesson. There is a chat button to speak to me and ask me those words if you want them. But I don't think they're important and I don't want to blind people with useless information. The 100 lesson course contains 50 core lessons on streaming video, course notes and various self-assessment tests, plus 50 spoken Spanish practice lessons with all the videos, interactive quizzes and notes. I provide extensive tutorial support so you can chat to me directly next to each lesson, and this is not like any other Spanish course. The focus is on speaking Spanish and understanding spoken Spanish. It is designed for beginners, intermediate and advanced students. I will explain how the guarantee that I have works shortly. The first part, the 50 core learning lessons, focus on the structure of the Spanish language, teaching students how to speak correctly and preparing them for the intensive spoken Spanish course online that awaits them. No lesson time is wasted teaching you things of basic vocabulary like numbers, colours, days of the week, months. I expect everybody to know that already. If you've lived in Spain for any amount of time, you will have basic numbers, colours, and I think it's a waste of your time and money for me to teach you those. Everybody has access to a dictionary to look up basic words like that. I teach you how to put it all together. You can look at that all offline. Each of the 50 lessons come with streaming video, which is an average of 45 minutes, plus the notes in PDF and Word document, etc. for reading on the screen or printing them off if you wish. Each lesson can be watched as often as you want at any time of the day or night on a mobile, tablet, computer, etc., or all three at the same time. Throughout the course, there are a variety of self-assessment tests and additional support materials. There is an easy access to my tutorial support. As I said a moment ago, you can chat to me directly and I do a great deal of answering of questions. Advanced and intermediate students should note that the core course is required for them too. You can't jump it and go straight to the spoken. They will benefit hugely by learning the shortcuts and make the construction of sentences much easier on the fly, off the cuff. The online core course has a cast iron guarantee that if a student lists the lessons that they learnt nothing from, no questions will be asked and credits will be given for spoken Spanish online lessons at their level, given to them, issued to them for no extra charge. Intermediate students commonly find that there will be no lesson which they can hand on heart say they didn't learn anything, but if there is, you can obviously ask for a credit. The average advanced student generally gets credit for 10 advanced spoken Spanish practice lessons, some 20. We've even had somebody who had 30 because they'd done years and years of Spanish before. The record time a student took to complete the core course was 5 days, which I think that person binged my lessons more than Netflix. She still reported that the speed tips were priceless because, of course, I approached the language very differently to any other course she'd done before, and she learnt a lot, and it dramatically improved her ability to construct sentences quickly. Even though she'd been doing Duolingo for many years, her inability to have conversation was her weakness. She is still pushing through the spoken lessons as we speak, which is all about tuning your ear to increase the speed of hearing Spaniards at normal spoken Spanish speed. There are also cultural content which is incredibly popular which I inject into my lessons. My explanation about cultural differences prevents embarrassments during queuing, asking time, infant male-female identification, funeral protocols, etc. All that's thrown in the course as well. When you complete the core course, students are then ready for the spoken Spanish practice lessons, where the focus is on listening to spoken Spanish, tuning your ear so that you can understand every fast-speaking Spaniard that you are ever confronted with daily. As I've said, it is not going to be your problem creating your sentence. Anybody can do that. It's understanding what they say back to you. You can have a script in your head which you think they're going to say. They never ever stick to the script, so you need to be able to understand what is said to you. The spoken Spanish practice lessons follow after the core 50 only. Spoken Spanish practice block of lessons have a variety of formats. Each lesson has 2 or 3 videos. The average lesson is 75 minutes for the spoken Spanish lessons versus 45 for the core learning. They are very intense. Many students do a video, one of these 3 parts daily, to avoid brain melt because concentration after half an hour is lost. Across these practice lessons, 90% of the time it is me. I extend your ability to understand and speak. Still, there are also 11 other different Spanish speakers from ages 7 to 70 with a wide variety of regional accents in some cameo roles to help you out as well. There is a wide variety of lesson types, from game shows to quizzes. Some lessons require preparing before you do the lesson, but it's all included in the notes. Additionally, there are some host of bonus lessons with Spanish expressions, keyword quizzes, very addictive Spanish numbers games, the real solution to learning your numbers when you're out and about off the cuff. Because it focuses so much on spoken Spanish, this course aligns differently from any standard academic course. However, the completion certificate issues issued at the end holds considerable weight in the extranjero residencia renewal applications because it's proof of your integration efforts in Spain. The package has no expiry date, no expiry term. Lessons can be watched as often as you like, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you want to see a free demo lesson to learn more about the course, watch an example of my culture clip, or read what current students are saying, or ask me any questions, you will see a form linked to this clip. I look forward to accelerating your grasp on the Spanish language and your appreciation of our culture. More importantly, understanding what is said to you and not just looking blank and going, sí, like most Brits do when they're out and about. Following this, there'll be some short clips of the spoken Spanish practice lesson course for you to have a look at. Hasta pronto. Adiós.